Well, a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome back to the LPGA Tour of Korea here on this Friday, May the 6th, 2022. We are live from Kingsdale Golf Club in Jungju-shi. Beautiful day, 23 degrees, mainly sunny skies, not a real threat of rain in the forecast, and a steady northwesterly wind at 3 meters per second as we will head right out to the course where we are competing for the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. Score to beat on the day, 4 under par, which means an opportunity to move within 3, a lengthy right to left birdie putt. And we start our opening round coverage out with a very nice finish for the second birdie of the round. Miga Young. One of the members of our featured group here on the par 5 ninth, 267 meters out, is Jaeun. Advancing nicely down towards the left side of the fairway. She'll have a nice look up towards the pin nestled to the right side of the green at number 9 today, which is where we find Jaeun 2 looking for birdie. Just inside of 3 meters. A little bit of movement to the right at the end, and just has enough of the side of the cup for a birdie of her own. She's out with a 35 and is 1 under par. Kime Reem from the fairway also setting up her approach at number 9. 16 meters per second the ball speed off the face of that fairway wood, and also sitting in a very nice spot with a good look at the pin. To the 10th, little uphill chip. Jae Young. Starting back online, this has a chance. Lovely display of the short game. That is now 3 birdies through 10 holes and just 1 off our co-leaders. Celebratory fist bump. That's a pretty nice way to begin our opening round coverage just after 3 p.m. local time at Kingsdale. Of course, celebrating its 10th anniversary, opening back in May of 2012. Right on schedule. Its construction 2 years, and the grand opening, and now the home to one of the 34 events this season on the LPGA Tour of Korea. I'm attempting to find some free relief from the what appear to be a sprinkler head just off the back of the green. We'll rejoin them in a moment, but yes, our first look at the leaderboard. It is a two-way tie with opening rounds of 68 from Lee Dae-yeon, as well as a nice performance as well from Kuchiu. And the approach at the 9th. 97 meters out, pre-June. And we'll just have enough to stay up top on that rise towards the back right of the green. Otherwise, she would still likely be rolling towards the front edge. Now Chanana. No hole out for birdie from her, but in close for a simple par putt. And back to 9, Kime Reem. Just a short 86-meter wedge shot up. Wind at her back will help her carry the distance she needs. Bit of a carom as she had slightly missed her landing zone off to the right. Have a rather lengthy up and down putt coming up next. And this was just moments ago at 10. Now that the drop has been sorted out, led aloft in almost an identical result through Chanana. Last on the approach at number 9, 3 meters closer from Kime Reem. And carrying that nicely up the hill, and we'll get a roll back into a very makeable birdie lie. It's a big field this weekend, this 3-round event, 132 competitors vying for the title. Here's Kimboa at 11. Carries over that rough and is going to sit nicely on this left side of the green. Muscling up and taking a good whack to get her on the green in 2. Now the uphill and then downwards putt from Kime Reem. Just over 8 meters away. And we'll have that remaining for par. Well, the umbrella's out, not for the showers, but for the very warm afternoon we have on course, feeling like 24 degrees. Absolutely stunning weather and, quite frankly, stunning views cut into the mountains here in Chungcheongbuk-do. Probably one of the best locations throughout the course to take in the action. Jaeun to move one step closer to even par. A little bit too much pace and slightly to the inside of target. Right over the 2 sand traps to the right side of the green, 88 meters out. The approach from Lee Sung-yeon. Spin will have that ball stop on a dime. Relatively level and straight putt as she'll be looking for birdie to 9 with Jung-min, and she gets her birdie. Not the easiest way to go out with the 36 with 3 bogeys and 3 birdies, but she does find herself at even at the turn. June 2, just outside of 80 meters, also attacking the pin, and will be quite pleased with that result. Couple of meters back towards the pin for birdie. not quite gonna have the spin to stay within 4 meters, but also on the green safely. On the par save for Kime Reem at number 9. Otherwise, it'll be a 36 on the way out. But she buckles down, comes up with a nice putt. All pars except for the birdie at the 5th. To 11 with Kyochon. Trying to flop this up the hill and get it in close. Mission accomplished, but how close will she get? So inside a putter's length. Simple birdie will be next for her. Well, the first of 3 looks at a bird here at 10. The longest effort will belong to Young as they get back left. Not daunted by the little late breaking movement to the left. That is now back-to-back birdies, and she finds herself within a pair of strokes. Off to just a scorching start to 2022. Third in the money list at nearly 157 million won. Kimboa, after reaching in 2, this is her look at eagle. It's got a chance. Look at the line. It always seemed like a bit of an ambitious putt for eagle from there, but she was not off by much. Back to 10. As we just saw a little bit right to left to start, and it should head back. Never quite wanted to straighten back out towards the cup. She had her distance right on the money. So she will settle for par. Her opening hole on the hill course. And Kimboa for birdie to move to 1 under. Back to the right, but well overcooked. That is a massive opportunity she has let slip by. And ENG 2 with a birdie of her own at the 10th. Back to back for her as well. Also at 2 under par, birdies at 3, 9, and 10. Just the 1 bogey coming about 25 minutes ago at the 7th. And after a nice wedge shot to set up this 4-footer for Kyochon. She too moves within 1 stroke of the top of the leaderboard. And as our featured group, winds their way down the hill, set up their approaches at the 10th. Absolutely breathtaking opening hole of this back nine. 270 meters from the tee, you have that first bunker off to the left of the fairway, and then two sand traps to float over. And today, with the pin location needing to attack the right side of the green, just 12 yards from the back and 4 yards from the right. When you look at that, you can only imagine some of the potential pin locations for the weekend. It's quite the topsy-turvy green with a lot of drops at the back left, front left, and front right. So an initial downhill tee shot, and then slightly back uphill towards the green. Kime Reem will tee off first. Towards the left side, which is about as perfect as you can be, and that's a great vantage point to show you just how steep of a drop it is from the tee blocks. Kime Reem's only birdie of the day had come at the 5th hole. Birdie at the 8th earlier in the round. Rough start to the round, bogeys the first 2 holes as well as the 6th, but she has certainly found a bit more of a groove. Well, the gallery certainly enjoyed that tee shot, also downhill into the fairway. With each passing week, we start to really see that young woman coming into her own here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. If you look at the leaderboard, Yuhei Ran, she has been the top performer through 4 events this season, finds herself comfortably in the hunt once again. Missing a couple names, Park Young-kyung and Lee Mi-jung not participating this weekend, but otherwise a star-studded field here at the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. Back in a quick moment right after this. long way to go, but halfway through the first round for a three-time champion. It's a pretty good success rate with this just being the 8th playing of this tournament. Here's Kime Reem on her approach. Carrying far too much power. She too is going to be off the back and into that little gully right where that downhill slope off the green meets the uphill rough perched above it. Well, very much in the hunt. Currently a tie for 3rd position. Jimin Kyung. Another little loft shot, and again she is showing that she is absolutely dialed in with the wedge. Dropped in near perfectly from off the front left of the green and inside just a couple of meters. Now this will be a bit of a dicey one for Chanana. Just centimeters out of the sand. This is going to be quite the interesting stance she'll be forced to take here. She goes both feet in the sand. A low ball flight on it and some pretty impressive distance control. She carried quite a bit of speed as it was set up almost like it's on the tee in front of her. She carries towards the back edge of the green, but she will be putting. And speaking of predicaments and uncomfortable stances, we have to go up into the mountainside, and from the very, very thick grass and no doubt some stones to deal with here. She's going to choke down really low on the shaft of the club, not even on the grip at all. Jay Reem, she's just going to need to try and get as clean of contact as she possibly can and get it back down the hill. Drives it into the side of the grass, and well, she'll be in a better position than she was, but this hole shaping up to be a rough outing for her. Much more comfortable look up the hill over the sand for Lee Chae-eun. Needs to get on the brakes in a hurry, and she too is off. Closest of the trio. She's caught a bit of the fringe, but nobody out of our featured group able to find the putting surface. Now the 4th for Jay Reem. In a perfect world, she'd be putting here, but we've seen this exact shot work out quite well. Didn't quite have enough carry, but she is going to stay put there. So she'll have some significant distance remaining as she's now focusing on saving par. Basically using the two extremes. 129-meter approach over the green, and it's still a dozen meters to go for Kime Reem. Just drops it delicately onto the fringe and had a bit of a kick to the left. But it is a mostly straight look at what will be her par putt. Kyochon now from the border of the sand trap. Still looking at birdie. A little bit of exasperation. That would have been quite the up and down, but she will be settling for par. Putting from the fringe for June. It's going to get left in a hurry here. Decent effort. Coming up shy of green in regulation, ends up costing her a chance to get to 1 over. She remains in a tie for 91st position. Coming back to the left for J.A. Ream, but carrying too much pace. That's the danger you run when you're dealing with that kind of upslope, and then just have to pray it's online, kind of like a game of Plinko at that point. And Kime Ream, now the par save. Only just, but it will look the same on the scorecard. She stays under par, and a tie for 32nd. Not only a 3-time winner, but a 3-time repeat winner. She won her first event in 2016 and defended that title in 17 and 18 as well. Was carrying a bit of speed, but she had enough line to make it 4 birdies on the day. And now into a tie for the lead from Jae-Min Young. We won't be sad to forget about this par 5, one that costs J.A. Ream a stroke with a bogey, her first of the round. And some catching up to do as well after her little escapade up the mountain. Choyan. Lengthy look at bird. It's the 10-centimeter tap in. Quick realignment. Don't want to overcomplicate this break. It's a 2-putt par. Now for a look at 13, the 4th hole here on this back 9. It is our first of the par 3s here. 152 meters is the distance, and it's a relatively flat par 3. Show you how the green plays. A really high perched up slope to the back right, where you see those darker shades of red. Won't quite be in play today. It is the front left of the green. Just beside the sand trap. We've only seen 9 birdies here. Second shortest of the par 3s. On course, the shortest honor belongs to the 145-meter third. She's been fantastic off the tee. Perfect. 10 for 10. Finding the fairway and again showing her accuracy. It's 212 at the 11th for Lee Ga-young. Thought about for a moment catching that little bumper lip at the left side of the green and staying on, but she will have an interesting decision ahead with how steep the drop is towards the back half of the green. Now having Song carrying a little bit extra distance.
안 남았어요?
응, 좋아, 괜찮아. 살짝 우측으로 가자.
And on the tee of the 11th, Kim
야!
She's been averaging 236.5 yards from the tee on her pars 4 and 5. And just under 3/4 accuracy off the tee as well. So it's a little bump and run. Really good effort. Over to 14 is Uni Na from 5 meters shy, 5 meters away, excuse me. Not the most tumultuous of lines, but it will be a little right to left. She had her line, but definitely wasn't going to shortchange that one, powering it up. Grazes the outside of the cup and just would not fall for her. She was last year's Dream Tour money winner, trying to translate that success to the top circuit here in Korea. Back to 11. This would be for Eagle if it could find the bottom of the cup. Be a pretty good swing to 1 under par, though she still has a chance to get back to even. Be about a 3.5 meter putt for par. While she lines that up and we wait for Lee Ga-young to be ready as well, let's quickly head over to the 14th. And Jaereen. Nicely done. Difficult one to navigate. It is her first birdie of the day. 3 doubles and bogeys at 9 and 12, but she certainly earned that one. Lee Seung-yeon, she does get her birdie. Back to even. Her first of the round after her bogey at the first. She had been all pars in between, and a big smile on her face as she keeps herself in the hunt. In the hunt is certainly where we find Lee Ga-young. That is now 3 birdies from 3, and if not for misadventures at 7, she too would be in a share of the lead.
올보디.
215 meters in the fairway wood in hand for Kim Reem. Takes a good chunk out of it. Will not be able to reach into. First time we can officially call her a co-leader. Jae Min-kyung still over half her rounds still to go. And with a handful of players just at the turn, I don't think that those rounds of 68, will be the lowest scores the way we're seeing putts falling left and right. Just runs out of speed. She'll settle for a tap-in par. Stays within 1. Jae Reem off the back at number 12. Has been doing herself a ton of favors the past couple of holes. She's done fairly well at minimizing some potential fallback. Chanana still sizing up and lining up that birdie putt in the meantime. Went to the tee at 12.
샷. 네, 샷.
Picks up a ton of top spin and speed down the hill, of course, and off the lip of the fairway, and now nicely sandwiched in the middle of that first cut. Fairly upright backswing, and then the incredible amount of rotation. Fantastic impact as well. She's been driving very well to start the season at 80%. Isn't the strongest hitter on tour by quite some margin, but she is accurate. And that tee shot even closer to the sand trap. It had enough carry to work its way down. It's always an art form, but especially so when it's slowed down with that many cameras and that TV magic. Now from just shy of the green, here's Kime Reem with only 35 meters left. Bit of a different attack style than some we've seen. Go a little bit more direct, take some loft, and you hope you have the speed to run up. You can see her gesturing. She didn't get as much under it as she would have been hoping for. Well, a gargantuan task, but a birdie here would vault her to the top. Looks a bit too slow, and even if she had a chance, rolling over the ball marker will take any chance she had, though it kicked her a little bit straighter on line. It is a birdie at 12 and still some company atop the leaderboard. Blasting it out of the sand for the inaugural winner of this event, and back when she took home the title in 2014, we saw many a shot like that. It was a quiet opening round for her. Looking back to 2014, 72. It is the highest round of anyone who's ever won this tournament. She had a 5-under round on Saturday to really set herself up in a good spot. Thumbs up from the caddy and earned applause from the gallery as well. Nice up. Still a very, very long look at birdie for Kime Reem. Up, and she needs to stay to our left. It's a really good effort. Should be simple tap in birdie. Tap in par, excuse me. ...119 meters from the fairway. Slightly uphill to the green for Kyochon 2. that have helped propel her into the 4th spot on both the points and money list here early in the season in 2022. She's chasing this one in the money. And they are going shot for shot. Impressive off the tee, impressive on the approach as well for Iga Young. She has been pin seeking 83% of the time. Her accuracy off the tee. Get a nice little bump up onto the green. Slightly uphill putt as she will have her first of several additional looks at birdie. She tries to put a little bit of distance between herself and the rest of the field. So we are nearing the end of our opening hour of coverage, this opening round of 3. The 8th playing of the Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. Back right after this. back with a flourish. Decent up, and now a tricky birdie putt from just inside of 5 meters with the wind blowing towards the back left edge, the direction that Young needed to find. Just a hair outside to the right. Tap in par. Holding her even at even through 12. Now just outside of 4 meters, each in 2. Short by mere inches. Still within a stroke and 3 under par. Striking the ball very well with driver. Lee Jung-min. Muscling that down to the right side of the fairway, not typically where we've seen many in the field play. Break down one of the more unique swings on tour. Of course, it evolves and is slightly modified with the seasoned experience that Lee Jung-min has. Kyochon for birdie. These birdie putts only have about a 1 in 4 chance at success, but don't tell her that. Still a flawless round and her 4th birdie to move into a share of the lead. And now the question, can Lee Ga-young follow her there? Not quite here at 12. And speaking of 4 under, Jae-min Young rolling just a couple of meters onto the green from the tee. Pretty good snap to the left. She will have some more company on her way to the next tee atop this 132 player field. To attack the right side of the green, goes a little bit more conservative and off to the left. That will be a rather long look at birdie next. Kim Reem is next. Over the course of her championship wins here at this event, 71 has been a common opening round score. She won 68 back in 2017 before back-to-back even par rounds would be enough to have her hold on for the title. Not only is she left, she has also carried that quite the distance away. So she too will be putting down into that valley towards the pin. So we head to 13. Igayo. 9-iron for her off the tee. Not particularly thrilled with her effort, and that would be why. Off to the right and onto the fringe. Nicely done from Lee Jung-min. Relatively straight and level look at birdie. We see Lee Cheon-2's effort next. Also 9-iron. Hasn't made a ton of big moves at the par 3s this year, excuse me. Well, that will be a really nice remaining distance. She tries to pick up what has been something of a rare birdie. Also on the par 3, but this time at 15, it is 7-iron for Cho Ayeon. He's going to get a really nice kick. The gallery would tend to agree based on that reaction. It's a nice tee shot. And she is certainly closing in on the top spots of the leaderboard as we get a look at our season-long leaders. We begin with the points. It is Yuhei Oran at 177. That is 32 points clear of Park Ji-young, Chi Han-sul, Lee Cheon-2, and Kim Soo-ji rounding out the top 5 there. Yuhei Oran also with the lead over Park Ji-young in the money list. Lee Ga-young in 3rd, Lee Cheon-2, and Cheng Soo-yeon occupying the 4th and 5th positions. And for the rookies, EA1 with a 404-point total through 4 events this season. She leads Mata Som, Yunina, Kwon So-yeon, and Park Dan-yu. Our first tournament of the season that will begin and end in the month of May. It is a very busy month of May ahead on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Three of the next 4 tournaments will be 3-round affairs, with the 2022 NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship coming next week from Suwon. And of course we have the Doosan Match Play Championship in the middle of the month, and we will wrap up the month of May at South Springs with the 10th E1 Charity Open. Kim Ae-rim certainly isn't out of it, but she needs to start turning in some birdies if she wants to get within a few strokes of those top spots on the leaderboard. Kuchu right up there amongst those in a tie at 4 under par. And with a birdie slipping by again for Kim Ae-rim, she will likely stay 3 back with a par made there. Lee Ga-young, look at this from the fringe, and just missing by millimeters to the inside left. Making up for a relatively poor tee shot based on how she's played through the first 2/3 of her round. Over to the 14th with Chanana. Sitting up above the hole, a little bit beyond and left of her target. We return to 12. Lee Jae-eun. Downhill putt comes up shy in the 3 to 4 meter range. And the chase for 1 under par will continue. Ri Seung-yeon comes up just a fraction shy there. And Lee Jung-min mostly straight with a little bit of right to left to get it started. Needed to compensate for a bit more of it. Now still about a 4-footer between her and a par. She has been finding birdies at a near impossible clip, and she's got another one. 4 of her last 5 holes have resulted in birdie now. She is one of the best on course at the moment. Biggest boost to her game as she is really not leaving herself with many a long putt. Now Cho Ayon, as they get back left, it's starting and it's falling. 5 under now for Cho Ayon, back-to-back birdies of her own, her 5th of the round, 3rd on the back 9, and she still has 3 holes to play. So now the leaderboard shaken up a little bit. We do see Cho Ayon in sole possession of the lead at 5 under par. Lee Jae-hyun 2 and Chae Min-young still on course, trying to also move past Lee Dae-yeon and Koo at 4 under par. Well, the breathtaking holes here at Kingsdale continue on the 14th. This is the 364-meter par 4, the long drop down into the fairway with sand on either side of the fairway, also water on the outside of both of those sand traps in and around the landing zone. From there, the bunker defending the front right of the green, and the pin placement today at the very back right, 6 yards from the back and around 10 yards from the back of the green. And it is a relatively high backslope green. You do not want to be short. Taking to the air and settling into the left side of the fairway. And the pack of patrons following her every shot grows by the minute. Lee Ga-young is next. Also dropping into the left, but dropping in to the sand trap. Avoids the water, but will have a far trickier second shot to come, as she will soon learn her fate through the rangefinder. We will rejoin Chanana. Nearly 6 meters between her and a birdie. just 2 under. For last year's third place finisher, the points and the money standings, finds herself within 3 with a very nice putt from distance. Nearly 4 hours on the course now for Jimin-kyung, having teed off at 12:15 local time. And here on the 14th, she too can move a step. Overshot that look at birdie. She will mark off and try and get herself readjusted for a short par. And back to the par 3 13th. Lee Jung-min will be teeing off first in this group. About 3 meters beyond the pin, a slight downhill putt for par as she goes head to head with another champion of this event.
핑까지 48?
47. 그치 38?
Six iron for Kim Ae-rim.
턴. 잘 들어갔다.
She can just dial in her iron game. She will be well on her way to making some strides, and I'd say that is a serious confidence booster there. What an absolute thrill it must be for Lee Jae-eun to be sharing the course, sharing this opening round with 2 champions here, trading a few notes, I'm sure. Certainly not the plan off the tee here at the 14th. It's been playing relatively conservative with 11 bogeys, only 1 double, 17 birdies, but nearly everyone that has come through here has finished with 4 strokes from the tee to the cup. And the approach, free chain 2. Sitting just perched up over the cup with about 5 meters to go. Well, she'll clear the drop zone and come within a meter of an impressive hole out. Showing no signs of cooling off or slowing down. It's 96 meters for Gayung. High loft out of the sand. Not quite carrying it as far up the hill as she would have needed. I mentioned that significant drop from the back half to the front half of the green when they were on the tee blocks, and that is evidence why you do not want to be short. To 15, Chanana. She got a pretty good kick in towards the shadow of the flag. She will look for back-to-back birdies here with just 4 holes remaining in her round. Well, the race is on between Jae-min-kyung, Lee Chae-in-2, and Cho Ah-yeon as they try and continue to ascend the leaderboard here in the opening round of this 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open from Kingsdale Golf Club. We'll just pass the midway mark of our opening round coverage here at Kingsdale. Resume the action on the green at the 13th. Lee Jung-min. A cruel little kick at the end to the outside right of the cup, as she will have to settle for par after quite the tee shot. And a long uphill putt for Lee Ga-young, looking for birdie. Nearly had that dialed into perfection. She is just outside the right. You can't blame her for reaching back for a little bit more power on that one. Also on 13, Kim Hae-rim for birdie to move to 2 under par. Just hangs outside.
Nice ball!
So she too, former champion, former 3-time champion, will be settling for a par at the par 3. Lee Seung-yeon has just enough of that inside edge to drop in, finally able to get back under par. Now Lee Ga-young hoping that miss of the fairway won't cost her a stroke, and she does recover for her par. Often smiling off the greens throughout the round, and throughout all rounds really for Lee Ga-young, but certainly in that case she knows she got away with one. Same cannot be said for Jo-yeon, who is just a few centimeters away from another birdie.
Nice birdie!
And now at 6 under for the day. 3 consecutive as she heads to the penultimate tee blocks. She has certainly been the standard. Over to 15. Jae Min-kyung. This is where you hope you are online. Anything can happen when you drop down that slope, which is basically like an ocean wave, and in this case she's heading left. Well, even if she pars out the rest of the way, I think she will be quite satisfied with the way things are going in this opening round Friday. Much more straightforward and straight look at birdie for Chanana. It's 3 meters out, starts it just to the outside of the cup, and has it back on line, and a fist bump. Back-to-back birdies for Chanana. Now 3 under. Could be within 1 if not for some of those early round shake off the rust moments with bogeys. And the combined shot map throughout the day here at 14. We've had a couple of close calls with the water, but nearly everybody has been able to find the fairway. 3 trips to the sand as well, and 18 birdies here at the 14th. No doubt you get some inflated driving distance numbers with this significant downhill opening shot here at the par 4. Lee Jung-min to the left side of the fairway. Good spot to be with the attack to the back right of this 14th green. Now Jae Min-kyung trying to save her par at 15. She's a little bit nervous on her way down to the green with what was standing in front of her with her second stroke, but recovers well with a nice 2-putt par. And Jay Ream will stay at 1 over, heading to the 16th tee. She had been playing very steady through the first dozen holes, and then a couple tee shots and approach shots gone awry has her on the wrong side of par.
뒷바람 쪽만 보는데. 살짝. 이거 더 강해. 진짜로 편하게 쳐. 너는 충분해.
First on the tee here at 15. This has not been a birdie-friendly hole, save for the few tee shots that have been as close as that. Par has been a reliable, a predictable score here. Maybe someone, well, when you can drop it in that close, you will be able to buck that trend. (11 of 14 greens in regulation, 9 of 11 fairways in regulation. Averaging less than a putt and a half per hole. Currently in the tie for second position at 4 under. And she won't be going any higher than that. We'll even get a bit of a roll back down. It's about 6 meters between her and another birdie. It's 91 meters out for Lee Jung-min. Good effort to get to the back half. I'm sure she would have been hoping that had a little bit more bite to it when it landed. And this is another representation of why you want to carry to the back here at the 14th. Kime Ream is next. Back-to-back, very nice approach shots. I think you'll be willing to sacrifice a little bit more of a longer putt towards the center when you know you're comfortably up top. As we go out to 16 and some trouble along the cart path for Chanana. Don't even need a graphic on the screen to tell you that she is just inside of 150 meters when the cart path will do that for you. And again, a bit of an uncomfortable lie, though she seems to be, at least on the release, happy with it, but she comes up short, and that is going to be a tricky one. Up close and personal are the patrons following one of the absolute superstars on tour. June from the right edge of the green and now rejoining her groupmates in that little collection of 7 meters out and left of target. Back to the par 3. Coming up short to the left. Chan 2. Be a tap in par, and she will head to the 16th, still 2 back of our pole sitter. Jungmin. First of 2 looks at birdie here at the 14th. As she started this high enough to the right. Maybe with a bit more speed. Be a disappointing one to watch that come up short. As would this. Sunyeon with a great tee shot. She has left herself with little to do for birdie. Rolls it in and picks up another stroke to the good. And is at 2 under par. On to 17 with our leader. The longest par 4 of this back nine, second longest on course. Only the opening hole at 389 meters has more distance to it, and this is quite the challenging green if this is your first look at 17 today. Get yourself up there and give yourself a chance, which is what our leader has done. Now Kim Hae-rim. Lessons to be learned, if any, from Lee Jung-min, from what we've just seen. In this particular location, started a bit more to the outside than perhaps you think you need. To move to 2 under. Similar line and a similar fate, these two past champions in lockstep. And to 16, Lee Seung-yeon. Well, just to the border of our charitable target zone, in the middle of the fairway. Close, but not quite there. Well, the next attempt at finding target, and this one to the other side, within a club length, but not quite there. That Leaves Iga Young with our last chance to share a little happiness here at 16, and not to be, though. She will get another 40 meters or so as she rolls down the cart path, and then we'll have some of that subtracted back. And that ball will roll and bump its way to the edge, and she'll take her free relief into a similar position to what we just saw Chanana have to deal with. Speaking of, from basically the cart path to the sand, she typically plays these sand recoveries very, very well. Unfortunately, she just couldn't stay up on that ridge. And our leader. This is, the closer we get, the longer we stay at 17, the more daunting this penultimate green looks. Just has to try and tiptoe the balance beam in between the 3 separate slopes, and she has done very well to get herself within a couple of feet for a par. Chanana, she needs this for par. Starts to tail in towards target at the end, but just comes up shy. So we tap in bogey, her first drop stroke since the 5th hole, and her 3rd bogey of the day. Within 2 strokes is Chaming Young, and with 11.5 meters to go, she just wants to get herself up this hill and close to a par. These typically drop so quickly to our left, and that is very well weighted. She did the heavy lifting. Now just a short par putt remains. Nicely done. Well, not only is the lie challenging, but evidently so is the drop, with how much of a downslope that is. This course certainly tests you in the home stretch. Look up and down the leaderboard and you can see the birdies really start to dry up. Only a handful at 18 thus far, and 16 and 17 have been all the more cruel. Makes for a very, very tantalizing prospect for the championship round on Sunday. Well, she's on the back portion where she needs to be, so the descent won't be as extreme, or ascent if she was shorter than that, but still some work to be done. And now to 18. Yunina starting it to the outside where she needs to be. This has a chance. Oh, just shy. Runs out of power at the end. So a tap-in par, 3 bogeys on the round, a birdie at the 6th, and she will finish the day with a 74. Now Choyan finalizes her par heading to the last with still a 2-stroke cushion. And just because it is a par 5, do not expect a realistic look to get to 7, though with the way she's been ball striking, I wouldn't put it past her. We've only seen 1 eagle today. That's at the par 5 11th, and that was much, much earlier in the round. Came courtesy Chung Ji-min, one of the first groups to play today, just the 3rd group to hit the course. And that is a masterclass in how to recover from a very, very challenging lie. This is what Chanana was hoping for. And Yiga Young says, let me show you how it's done. It's a carom that could not have ever been intentional, but the old adage, good to be lucky and lucky to be good. Just breezes over the inside edge from Lee Jung-min. It is 4:45 in the evening. And as the opening round starts to reach its conclusion, we see that 3 under has been a pretty popular score today, though only one player has reached the heights of 6 under par. That is, of course, the fantastic round in progress through 17 holes from Choyan. We'll be back to wrap up her round and work our way closer to the finish line here on this Friday momentarily. We will rejoin our leader on 18. Another good chunk of the fairway taken care of from Kyochon. One of our featured groups on 16. This is 15.3 meters out. 미순연.
살짝 내리막. 아이도 축이 그렇게 많지는 않아.
So that is more than reasonable from that long distance away from target. And Lee Jung-min teeing off next. The 336 meter par 4. Rolls right on through. The target is on the middle of the fairway. Two last chances to share a little happiness here on 16. And Sun-yeon now for birdie. Slightly under hit. Kim Hae-rim hasn't missed a fairway yet today. It's been the irons that have been slightly to her undoing. And there we go. This one will sit up. Another lovely drive from the three-time winner and a nice little donation to boot. And Kyochon 2 for par. And after leaving herself with 15 meters for her birdie putt, she lips out and will be dropping a stroke here.
바깥도 괜찮아. 나는 이쪽으로 이쪽으로. 그냥 끝 바깥 생각하면 돼.
A much shorter, a much more reasonable ask here. Pick up a little ground for Lee Ga-young after a exquisite recovery shot. She does have her birdie. Fifth of the day. And 4 under and very much within reach with just a couple of holes to play. Now on 17, another long distance look at birdie, this time for Chae Min-kyung. Again, played to near perfection, just enough to get up the hill and set her on the right line. A 2-putt par. We'll head to the last at 4 under. Everyone is chasing Cho-Ayan with one last opportunity to pick up a final stroke, and she's going to get a pretty good roll back towards the cup, and hey, she might just be on for a opening round of 65 after all with that very nice approach. We head back to 16 with Kime Reem, 123 meters up the hill, and searching for roughly the back left half of the green. Pretty good speed to get up, and will carry it right on over the slope end. Sat up nicely for a look at birdie and some relief as well, as she finally gets that iron to engage late in the round. Jungmin trying to get up and stay left. Literally just like that. That's the blueprint. These two, it's like they've found complete synchronicity with each other. When there's been struggles, it's like they share in it, and then when they've got everything sorted, they are just pushing each other, one-upping each other time and time again. Two lovely approaches from those champions. Chanana at 17, this to save par. It's on line, just shy. Some heartbreaking late movement. She really put herself in a good position to save par, but it will be back-to-back bogeys as she heads to the last, just 1 under par. Mere centimeters away from a very, very nice save. The weather, the scenery, all absolutely perfect for this opening round Friday at Kingsdale. Cho-Ayan at 6 under, but quite likely only for another minute or two. She is very much in range of a birdie to take her up to 7 under with an opening round 65. 14 players at 5 under or better here in the late stages. The end of hour number 2 of our coverage of the opening round of the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. nearly closing time at Kingsdale as we head once again to the 18th. Hamin Song trying to finish the day with a 71, and she's going to get there with a nice birdie. Her fourth of the day. Back-to-back bogeys at 15 and 16 took her momentum away slightly down the stretch, but a nice finish. We will see if we can continue this streak of birdies. Kime Reem is able to connect. 14 pars, and now her second birdie, her first since the fifth hole. Perhaps picking up a little bit of confidence into her final pair of holes. Well, this would be for a 65. Cho Ayeon currently with a 2-stroke cushion, just 3.5 meters between her and a remarkable opening round. Just runs out of speed at the end. I don't want to take the credit away. A par here does not make the round any less remarkable. Bogey free and 4 birdies on the back nine. 2 just before the turn, and she is far and away the lowest score of the day. Lee Jung-min also looking for birdie, and also getting a birdie at 16. That also takes her up to 2 under par. It has been much more consistent and steady play after the turn. No bogeys, and now her second birdie. To 17. Kyochon 2 is 132 meters shy of the green from the fairway. She's going with 7-iron. Attacking the right side, though she has to be careful with the sand just to the right, and she is safely on, but quite a ways down past the target. Well, on and off the green in the blink of an eye, she is sat up to the fringe, mostly pin high, and she might even consider putting this down. Not a terrible end result for her. Well, we have reached the penultimate hole for our featured group. Lee Jung-min using every available meter of the fairway. Drawn in nicely to the left side, should be safe. Up on the hill, and it will roll a bit closer to the fairway, but off from the tee. Kime Reem. And a look at the updated LF Hazy's points standings, the season-long competition. The LF Hazy's Points Championship, Yuhei Ran, she is also leading this with a comfortable cushion over Park Ji-young in second. by 520 points between the two. Chihan Sol unchanged from last week at 1,390 points. Lee Ga-young up 9 spots to fourth position. Lee Seung-yeon, EA1, Park Gyeol, Cheng Soo-yeon, Lee So-mi, and Chanana all rounding out the top 10, though those final four names have slipped up a little bit since that last shuffle of the leaderboard. Rewarded for your score, the strokes you make, as well as consistent performance. Having said that, you can also be punished for consistently missing the cut, though that isn't an issue for those firmly in the top 10. Well, it looks like Lee Ga-young is indeed going with putter here from slightly above the hole, and if it slows down, it's going to be okay. She went right at it and still nearly found her birdie. It's the kind of aggressive mindset that is certainly helping her reach some good heights in this opening round. Well, even if it had a bit more power, that was certainly heading left. Not quite in automatic range, though. Getting up a fair bit of distance between her and the hole. And look at this, it's going to get awfully close. It's decent effort from Lee Seung-yeon, she'll be happy with that. Certainly one where you spend a lot of time studying the topography and overall soaking up every moment of the practice round yesterday just to get an idea. So we head back to 18, Chae Min-kyung. She is going to cascade all the way to the fringe at the back of the green. Now Ichan 2 trying to save par. Nicely done. And a par save as well at 17 for Lee Ga-young. And she will head to the last comfortably. 4 under par. Not much remains. And with how shallow she was on the approach, I think she will happily strut off with a par here to stay at 2 under heading to the last as well. Now Chanana. 76 meters on the approach at 18. She too will be joining Jae-Min towards the back portion of the green. Well, off and to the left, but as we just saw from Young, there can still be a positive result from that location there. As we give you the aerial tour, the 18th and final hole, the 9th of the hill course. Sand there to meet you on the right side of the fairway, anywhere from 190 to 155 meters remaining from your tee shot. Dogleg left hold with more sand on the left side of the fairway with your second shot, and then a massive, massive sand trap off to the right. Pin location today, make a straight line over the sand. It is 34 yards off the front, 8 yards from the right, with a little valley between the two downslopes on that extreme right edge where we are headed today. Iga Young first to tee off to a rousing ovation.
Okay.
Now Jae-Min on the approach at 17. She's 128 meters out from the fairway. Uses every available meter on the left side of the fairway, but stays in regulation. Definitely need to give it a good whack from that far back. Jae-Min, and will feel rather confident as she walks up to prepare for what should be a par in the final stroke of her round. Jenna now looking for birdie here at 18. Take her to an opening round score of 70. Needs to get right in a hurry, but it stays straight all the way past. Looks like she will be very much on the line for an opening round 71. It's going to drop to the left in a hurry. About 3 meters out for Kime Reem. She will exchange wedge for putter for the second to last time in this opening round. Well, it's a good finish for Jae-Min Young. Not the birdie she was hoping for, but the opening 2 holes on both the hill course and the lake course found birdie on the way to a bogey-free round of 68. Now Chanana just a short par putt, and she should be in. It is a very comfortable round of 71. Not her best, far from her worst, but those 2 bogeys at 16 and 17 undoing a little bit of the work she had done in earlier in the day. Another stroke closer to the 18th green. Okay. This is Lee Jung-min at 17. Gonna chip instead of trying to putt from this location. She might have taken a bit too much speed out of this. Well, of everyone left on course, Lee Ga-young is the closest and most realistic shot to find our only round of 67 on the day. Cho Ayan, she is in with the 66, just coming up shy of her look at birdie. And before we even came on the air was Lee Da-yeon and Coach Yu doing the early work, having teed off around 7:30 in the morning. The first groups to play, and by virtue of that, Kuchu has spent most of the day atop the leaderboard. She will end it very close. Very nice putt, great putt even. Big save as she heads to the last, still at 2 under. Well, her first bogey since the 8th. That is a bit deflating heading to the 18th. Just not enough on that chip to really put her in a good spot. being a little bit aggressive with the second shot was Chen too. She's avoided the sand, but she has found herself 44 meters back of the pin and in the rough. Well, in from that second cut towards the back edge. Doesn't take birdie completely off the table, but certainly makes it a tougher task. Jan2 also heading into the back half of the putting surface. Well, a decent little approach as we take a look at the final, or one of the final glimpses at the leaderboard before our featured group is in. Should highlight as well someone we haven't seen a ton of throughout the round, especially with her having started on the 10th tee, but Shuhei Reem keeping herself in contention with an opening round as she is through hole number 7 on her way what would be out, but towards the end of her opening round. We'll take a step aside. When we come back, we will wrap up the round for Iga Young and co. here at the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. will rejoin the action on 18. Lee Jae-eun 2. That stayed straight as an arrow the whole way through. A little bit of power. She reached forward to try and get up towards the hole, and as a result just blew through her line. We're seeing Lee Seung-yeon also taking a pretty significant line to the left. This comes over a bit more, with a bit more power added to the recipe. Also takes her beyond the hole. So no birdies for either of these two challengers. First rip up the 18th fairway from Kim Hae-rim. Lee Jung-min will be next. Coming up shy, and even with a bit more pace, Lee Ga-young would have been looking to the right anyways. So she finishes the day with the par. She's in with a 33 and an overall first round of 68, and within 2 strokes of the leader heading into moving day. It's 250 meters. Lee Jung-min going with iron, not trying to reach into, but set herself up comfortably, which she has done just in behind of Kim Hae-rim. And also a round of 70 for Lee Seung-yeon. She's in with a 33, much, much better on the back 9, and she too has herself firmly in contention. And as we wait for Lee Jae-eun, Lee Jung-min, and Kim Hae-rim to make their way down the 18th, chance to stop and smell the roses. The expression, of course, and yes, one of the many absolutely incredible attributes to this Kingsdale Golf Club, the flora. Carved into the sides of the mountains here in Chungju-shi, just absolutely breathtaking, and quite the way to celebrate the course's 10th birthday, having opened in May of 2012. When we think back to the past winners here, no one has gone as low as we saw today from Choi-yeon, though certainly a formidable performance in the opening round back in 2019 from Park So-yeon. On her way to an 11 under tournament to take home the prize. It's the lowest score in tournament history. Kyochon 2, after her bogey at the 16th, a couple of pars to wrap up her round, and all smiles as she leaves the 18th green. And a tie for 6th position. We'll see if Kime Reem is able to take another step up into that score of 69. It is a bit of gridlock from 6th to 15th, all at 3 under par. Here's the wedge up from Kime Reem. And a little bit of backspin to keep herself in a pretty good line, and a look at birdie. And we'll see if the synergy between she and Lee Jung-min will continue on one final approach shot. Landing in a pretty good divot. See the black tee marking the ball as they wait for a rules official to arrive to make sure that the relief she takes is to the letter of the law. So a momentary delay while we await the tournament official. There they've arrived. Going over, this is what we've come across.
네네. 아, 여기 피치마크. 아, 이거 그러면 이거 바뀐 거 맞아요. 피치마크 자국 있어요. 네, 그럼 여기 뒤로 해서 뒷점 잡고 한 클럽 들어갈게요.
Reach in the bag, take out the driver. A bit of dealer's choice here. Help yourself with a bit of an angle. Mark off in 2 different locations and play your drop. The spectators eagerly awaiting the arrival. This 31st group, they teed off at 12:35 this morning. That was just over 5 hours ago. This is the 31st of 43 groups who've teed off on the opening hole. And still 4 more to play for Park Dan-yu, who's putting together a very nice round as well at 3 under. Gary Park through 15 rounds. Putting together a nice round as well, also at 3 under par. Lee Jung-min a little tail back in beyond and then slightly off to the right from her group mate Lee Jae-eun. And all 3 are safely on. Well, and while we await Lee Jung-min to make her way up to the 18th green, a look back at some of the best snapshots of the day, that's certainly a dramatic one. Sand traps carved into the hillsides here. Pacquiao and her group sharing a laugh earlier in the round as well. On that lounge just in behind the 10th tee, you get a good look at everyone teeing off, and you rotate yourself 90 degrees to the right. You can have a glance over at everyone finishing their rounds as well. And as we make our way into the weekend, I'm sure we will see the numbers of spectators growing exponentially in size. Will we be in store for a 4th championship here? The Kyochon Honey Ladies Open from Kimerim. Birdie here takes her within 3 shots of the lead for an opening round of 69. She has joined the party of those missing to the left. It's a pretty consistent miss if you're to miss at 18 from that part of the green. Just straightens out, and Kimerim knows she's left one. So it is a round of 70. One hole in behind our featured group. Kyochon charging up the leaderboard with another birdie. That is now 3 in her last 4 holes, her 5th of the round, and she has found herself 2 back with 1 to play. Jaeun for birdie. Can she get to 5 over? Yes, she can. Ends on a high. Challenging day for her with 7 bogeys on the scorecard, just her 2nd birdie of the day. And an opening round of 77. Now Jungmin with Kimerim failing to get to 3 under. She could tie again after bogey at the last. It was online, it just didn't have enough pace on the putt, so it is a 2-putt par. Out with a 36, in with a 35. She finishes the round at 71. At the moment, 5 back of our leader. Well, not the end to the round that either Lee Jung-min or Kim Ae-rim would have been hoping for, with 2 pretty aggressive and minimal distance birdie putts in the grand scheme here at 18, but neither could find their birdie. Into the clubhouse they go, and back to the drawing board to try and find some solutions for tomorrow. Our opening round highlights, we begin at the very first hole of the day, and Jae Min-kyung, the first of many birdies on her way to a very respectable top 5 finish. another at the second, starting with consecutive birdies. It was a very impressive start to her round. Then on the third, Lee Ga-young from the tee at the par 3 going with 8-iron. Bounces and rolls nearly an ace. Leaves herself with a very short birdie putt that she would make no mistake on. To the 8th, where we really started to see Cho Ae-yeon start to turn up the heat. The best putt of the day, bar none, from basically the back edge to make it 2 birdies from 2 at 7 and 8. Had to have the line centimeter perfect with as much pace as she was carrying up back towards the cup, and Lee Ga-young with a birdie at the 9th. She was out with a 35. Then on the 10th, Jae Young, the lovely little touch. A wedge shot up and on the line and all the way into the bottom of the cup. Her first birdie since having gone birdie to start the round, and she would do it again at 11. This a much less dramatic one, but a tricky read that she makes no mistake on. That got her to 4 under, which is where she would go on to finish the round. Then Lee Ga-young from just inside the green, an uphill right to left putt. Starting the back 9 with the birdie, she would have 2 more in store. Cho Ae-yeon, she would have many on the way in. This at 14, her first of 3 in a row. The second at the 15th was set up by this incredible tee shot. Pulled the 7-iron out of the bag and rolled down and made its way back towards the center. Would even tail in a little bit for her, leaving her a very short putt that she would drain. And then on 16, from 112 meters out from the fairway, aiming to the left and getting another nice carom and nearly holing out again. Tremendous approach to set up a nice finish to the round. Wouldn't quite have her birdie. Would have been her 5th on the back 9. Comes up a little bit short, so she's in with a 32 and a combined opening round of 66. This perhaps the shot of the day for Lee Ga-young, having come to rest on the cart path along the brick layer. And speaking of caroms, look at this bounce back to the left and inside of 2 meters. And she wasn't done there. She would drain that on her way to a score of 33 on the lake course. And then finish and the tip of the cap from Jae Young. Nearly one final birdie for Lee Ga-young at the 18th, but she too comes up just a bit shy. So she would be settling for a par finish. She went out with a 35. Just the one bogey on the round, came back at the 7th, but she was near perfect on the back, and she has herself within 2 strokes and currently a 5-way tie for second at 4 under par, as we continue to see Park Joo-young making some moves late in her round. 2 under, 70 was a very popular score today as well. We have 31 players at 2 under or better. 46 players of the 132 player field are under par. And then from 47th to 67th, a ton of even par scores. Here we see a handful of them as well. So, of the 132 players, we have 67 at even or better. And we are shaping up for a very busy day tomorrow on moving day. We will have our first modified cut of the year with only one round to make some noise at the end of reducing the field by over half, depending on how the day goes tomorrow. But it certainly will be full of some more fantastic action here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. We'll be on the air at the exact same time tomorrow. We look forward to having you back out to the Kingsdale Golf Club. We will be on from 2 p.m. local time here in Chuncheon, Bukdo at the Kingsdale Golf Club. It is the end of round number 1.